While it was a great comeback, ultimately it is a bit of a heartbreaker for Moist Moguls as they bring things to overtime only to watch it slip between their fingertips as Guard takes a second map in this best of 5 series, going up 2-0 over their opponents. But you gotta give them credit. They were down again by an insane margin, yet another lopsided half in favor of the Guard. Moist Moguls has tremendous resolve. The fact that they stay in this game mentally and don't check out thinking like, God, again? Like, we had what we thought was a great game plan coming in, and they just couldn't facilitate it on the one side of the map. But then the second half comes in, and boom, it's just like map 1 all over again.
Yeah, Moist Moguls is showing us that they have resilience, to say the least. Like you were saying, on Ascent, it started off 10-2 on the half, and then they were showing us somewhat of a comeback. And then again on Fracture, it was a 9-3 half, and they took it into OT. So they are extremely strong mentally in their resilience, and they bring a fight.
Yeah, we also have to keep in mind that they lost both pistols that map, and they got thriftied, and they got 1v3'd and 1v2'd twice. And the fact that it went OT just shows you how much resilience Moist Moguls actually does have. But on the flip side, I think the Guard played extremely well. They looked super well cohesive. They were moving as a unit, and even the layers of mind games they had in the pulse plants and adapting to what Moist Moguls was throwing at them was just top tier.
One of the big issues right now with Moist is they're actually finding the advantages early, which is not something that typically has been a standpoint of their offense. Usually, Moist Moguls is the team who is winning in the late round, not the early round, getting that advantage. But they're having a hard time figuring out what to do with it. Right now, they sit, I think, +6 overall compared to the Guard in first engagements. But if you look at the clutches that have taken place across the last few maps, it's been 6 clutches for the Guard, just 3 for Moist Moguls, which is it's weird to say that. This is a team we praise. Their foundational core is being a team that in the clutch scenario comes out on top. Now, you could argue maybe they're not in as many situations as they could be, but obviously if the Guard wins a 1v1, it means that they were also in that 1v1. So it just has been a thing that has not been going their direction, whereas in the past it has been something that has definitely been more of their bread and butter. And it's unfortunate to see, because you look at those individual scenarios, just a few rounds go the other direction. This is a Moist win, not a Moist loss in OT.
Yeah, and Tex had a really insane 1v3 on the pistol side once we swapped over to second half that really shouldn't have gone his favor, but they were kind of peeking one by one and just giving it to him. They needed a little bit more coordination to secure that win on the pistol. So lots of clutches, like you said, were happening. And the player that really stood out to me was Jonah P. This was a Jonah P game. He got multiple 3Ks. He got 4Ks. Round 10 in particular that happened is when they were baiting out the util from Moist Moguls. He was doing a fake with his Rolling Thunder on the B side, and then they ran over towards A. I mean, his shots were super clean. Look at his KDA too.
Yeah, Jonah P currently in the series has 12 multi-kill rounds. Tex has 15. They're the 2 most influential players in the server for the side of Guard. By comparison, you've got Flya, who's sitting at 14. Very strong performance from Flya in map 1, especially in that second half. But not a single other player even breaks into the double digits for Moist Moguls, which is kind of an indicator of what's happening. Yes, they might find that opening kill, but then they're struggling. They're dropping 2-3 players potentially to 1 defender. We saw it happening a lot with Net in map 1. He was getting a ton of multi-kills, and it continues to be a problem here for Moist Moguls. But there is hope. 1, that was a very close game, and it could have gone their direction had they been able to take those clutches. 2, we're going to map 3. It is a best of 5. The series is not over yet. It's not a 2-0 victory, and we can take a look at the maps. Here's why this is a good thing. Here's your silver linings. This is an incredibly good map for Moist Moguls, one that we don't often spend much time talking about when we discuss this team. They are 7-0 in challengers on this map, and they have already beaten the Guard twice. They've beaten FaZe, OR Esports, G2, M80, Shopify Rebellion. They have certainly honed their craft on Haven, so it seems like they're potentially set up, now that they've warmed up a little bit more here in this second map, to find a win in this third map in the series, Roy.
Yeah, I've actually been studying Moist Moguls Haven a lot lately, actually, because they have had an amazing record on it. 7-0, like that's not easy with a league with M80, Guard, so many really strong Haven teams. But the fact that they are so good on that map because they have so many layers of their gameplay. Like they're really good at masking. They know how to hide what they're doing. They have so many different paces. Their post plants are immaculate. They have so many branches off their defaults that can go either way. They really like to get a nice grip on the map on the attack side, and the way they play it is absolutely beautiful. Now, for me, what I'm wondering here, Bach, is Guard has shown they've kind of rolling away from that Viper comp. Are they going to roll back a composition on this map as well? Like that is going to be a massive talking point, and I can't wait to see what that's like.
Yeah, what Roy is talking about is the more recent comp where they were running double controller as a compared to maybe a more standard composition with 2 initiators, where that we're running that in the past, looking back at the mid-season face-off, which is where we really saw the Guard first play the map. We never saw them play it during Split 1. We only saw them play it at mid-season face-off and on. Now, they're not bad at the map. They're 3 and 4 on the map, but when you compare the performances and the quality of opponents, it is very much so a very good map for Moist Moguls. The big question in my head, can you reset mentally from 2 close games that you couldn't claw back? Not only that, but 2 close games where you were down a significant margin coming into the second half, and then you started to bring it back. It's almost like that false hope narrative. It's like, oh, we're getting closer and closer and closer in map 1. You end up losing in regulation. You come into map 2, you're down a lot. You're like, you gotta be kidding me again. And they bring it back. This time they go to overtime and they're like, okay, we're fired up. Let's go. We got this. Boom, 2-0. Quick end to the overtime run. It doesn't even go into multiple OTs. There is certainly a factor where it's like, okay, how do you sort of forget that? And Em, as a player yourself, how do you forget that?
Well, we're starting on a new map, so the score is 0-0. So whatever happened in the last 2 maps, it doesn't matter. As a professional player and being in tournaments many times myself, you have to be able to brush that off. And Moist Moguls has been showing us that. They're showing resilience. Like I said, they're giving the Guard a run for their money, and we're on Haven now. Haven is a map that they've won twice the last times they played it against the Guard.
And Roy, they don't shy away. They stick with the double controller. So they're going to have the Omen Viper. They're going to have the Killjoy Jet and the Sky. And on the flip side, you really can't fault Moist for not changing a thing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They have no reason to change things. But I'm also not surprised that the Guards stuck with this comp, because the way they played it last time was actually super fundamentally well. It's just they lost a lot of really late round scenarios and a lot of late clutches. So I think here they're thinking, well, last time it was just like point flip losses that we had or unfavorable losses that we had. So we might as well just run it back and see what we can do on this time.
Let's also not forget that they just ran this comp, the other day against Oxygen, and they completely obliterated Oxygen. Another team who has been historically really good on Haven throughout all of Challengers. And yeah, you can maybe argue that the way that Moist has been playing is a peg above what we've seen from Oxygen, but both teams were very competent on the map. So the fact that they decimated, it was 13-9, which doesn't tell the full tale. It was a 10-2 half. Again, see, like the Guard is kind of getting these really crazy, aggressive one-sided halves before a team starts to claw back. Kind of illustrates just how things went. But we shall see. Right now, it is the Guard who is on the precipice of victory, 1 map away from punching their ticket to Sao Paulo, Brazil, to represent the Americas region at Ascension with a shot for VCT. Moist Moguls looking to hang on. We've got our casters standing by. Take it away.
Yeah, Moist Moguls looking to hang on. Sully, it seems that's all that they've been able to do. The first couple of maps, heartbreak. Coming into map 3, a good one. The desk teed it up. But 2 maps down, you have to think, right? For Moist Moguls, you got to come out the gates hot. You have to give us something early. Comp or not on the side of the Guard, Moist Moguls need to show us signs of life before it's a 10-2 or a 9-3 half.
And that's the thing, is the mental of, again, I'm going to keep saying it, playing the chaser in this series of, we have to catch up in rounds. We're down 10-2. We have to try and make some changes. That kind of mental wear and tear is going to bully this team, I think, into trying to make a reverse sweep happen, but also it's very difficult to make that happen when your mental is in that stature, right? Moist Moguls are continuously, again, going to have to make the adjustments. This is the 3rd time that these 2 teams have played on this map. We are seeing, again, the exact same competition across all 3 maps, or apologies, across the last 2 times that they've played here. And Moist Moguls playing a retake on the C site, similar to what we've seen on Fracture and Ascent. They're just going to be right on the doorstep.
Yeah, I mean, retake, they are quick to it. Deep leads the charge. The Paranoia finds an early kill onto Tex. Valen good for the trade as the decay is good. The chop away at the health bars, but that has not been enough. Sim will eventually go down, but it's all up to one, that one being Trent. And we asked for it. They delivered. Moist Moguls take the pistol.
And again, Moist Moguls just playing the retake in a sense where we're going to be right there when you try and make it happen. C got an early contact with that alarm bot. A paranoia slowed things down and actually split up this guard offense. That's why we had 2 or 3 players late swinging through C long. And Moist, that's the start that you wanted. They pick up the pistol, they get the guns in their hands. Advantages lean in their side. And you talk about hot starts. Moist Moguls, they need that, but one player in particular, someone who has not had anything going their way so far in this series, who will be a very key figure to try and make this reverse sweep happen, Tanner. It's going to be Sim.
A good start to this second round. Yeah, Sim has... I mean, even if you're just looking at the last time these teams played, we've talked about the Sim and Tex comparison. And on defense, it was Thief that kind of kept Moist Moguls in the game. And then once we swapped to attack, it wasn't Sim, but a Proto that drugged them across the line. And fortunately, that good start, that strong start that we hoped for from Moist Moguls not only makes an appearance here on Haven, but the player who drugged them across the line last time is getting started early. A Proto, a handful of kills, a defuse, now 1 pip away from the lockdown.
That'll be big for him if he can use it in this next round, if he can get a kill, back away, play the retake. The guard on the other side as well will be looking at Tex to step up. I think he was a slow performer in both the times, or actually the one time that he played this map at Haven because he wasn't there. They had Josh RT playing the first time these two teams clashed on Haven. So they played this team, Moist Moguls, 2 times already. This 3rd time, have they realized the mistakes? Because it was 2 clutches last time that got Moist Moguls across the finish line on this map. And the guard will be key to not let that slip away and not let that happen again. They approach the A site. Early wall goes up to allow Trent to slip through and towards short and cover these players from the dart behind them, as well as that smoke to give them A long control.
And nobody home. Nano Swarms clear out backside, but no defenders.
And a Proto's got a lockdown here as well to work with. You don't have any util that can break it. It'll be difficult to press the issue. Not yet are Moist Moguls here ready for the retake. But this lockdown will buy them some time and force the guard to be in kind of uncomfortable post-plant situations in a second.
And they're allowing the plant lockdown still held on to. So now time on the side of the guard. Weaponry there as well, but the health isn't the best. Jonah and Valen in awkward spots.
Wonder if Flya's gonna send this aftershock in fault line towards that corner out towards long, and it seems that he has. He's done exactly that to force these players out. What a huge play from Flya! And what it was, the bonus of Moist Moguls, they might have just got it picked up unless Tex can find something huge. It's 5 players alive, and Moist Moguls had the recipe in this retake.
Flawless.
Absolutely huge. You have to give so much credit to not only a Proto for the rounds prior to this one because of that lockdown, but the ability and I guess the confidence in Moist to not send any of that util until it was pertinent, right? You called it out. Stun, aftershock, paranoia also behind it just in case Net wanted to try and fight out of that corner, but there was no way back into that round. And before you know it, Tex is just overwhelmed.
And this is the hot start Moist Moguls needed. The guard reset financially. We'll try and make what looks to be a Hail Mary play out towards A, which is a little bit of control here from Net, but a fast contest here from Moist out towards long.
And that's just unheard of. That feels awful. Tex will be allowed that weapon as well. Brock takes some damage. How much is behind this fault line? It's nothing. That was just for Brock to try and get out of dodge with 49 HP.
That shock dart? Oh, I thought it did a lot more damage than just onto Jonah P. The regrowth gets them all back. Look at Thief and his control. They don't have a lot towards mid. And for that reason, I think guard can kind of slow walk up. They won't have any util to break this, to break the alarm bot on the 2 swarms. But this kill into a Proto is, yeah, never mind. That's going to set them up. They don't need to break the util.
And the kill early from Tex, rifle found, means another 2 players down or Moist Moguls. And this hurts some early momentum that might be stripped away. Deep in the back line though. Spots 1, hit, and gets some damage straight back, but it's only damage thus far. The guard have so much to use to try and hang on to this round. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Moist are going to try their darndest. Brock will grab the first. Valen's still healthy, but only a stinger to work with as the flashes come through. 4 players out towards mid. Only 1 remains. It's Flya, who's good in the last couple of maps, but needs to be perfect here. Tex takes control of the round, and it's a thrifty victory for the guard.
And a huge swing back from the guard, getting a lot of nice 1v1s. I think a Proto giving his life up was not necessary whatsoever. You had an alarm bot and 2 swarms for that exact reason, but he took the fight anyway because he wanted the info. The idea is we have a lack of space on A right now. We need to figure out where they're going. But this was a Moist Moguls, I think, unfortunately, given a lot of unnecessary 1v1s. Obviously, the shot against Sim was extremely unlucky in Moist Moguls' eyes. But to continuously sling, I don't think was necessary. Now they're going to have to work, not with the worst cash setup. It's still a strong buy. They're going to work against a guard that are pushing towards C quickly. That's a nice pick to open it up, though.
Yeah, great start to the round for Thief. Flash comes through, forces them away momentarily. It does allow for the orb picked up. That's Jonah P working towards the Seekers. But yeah, that round 4, right? Moist just do not give any respect over to the guard. They get punished for it. And now they get back with inside themselves, and they play this slower default.
They've got a good read here as well, I think, because of Brock and his recon both out towards A long. He saw nothing, so they kind of anticipate now this B hit. That's a great fall line, and that's a great kill.
That's huge. Valen too comfortable. We talked about respect, and well, it was without there in that from the shadows play. With that, it calls for the rotate out towards the Say side. Only 3 players though for the guard, as 2 have been dealt with. Nobody here directly on the site though.
Viper's Pit as well for Trent. If they can get on, that is, but look at Fly and how close he is. That drone, oh, I was going to say if he saved it for the ult, it could have been huge, but Fly just creeps on through,
left.
and nobody's checking. That should be 1. Where's the second? Just around the corner.
Viper's Pit online. Trent flexes to use that one only for a moment. Paranoia still available for Thief. Spike to be planted. There goes that Paranoia. Viper not quite dealt with yet. Net does not make it out. Trent still alive, though. The pit still stands with 8 HP. Brock just around the corner. Forced to reload. A tap on the spike. Brock still holds the angle. Brock finds the kill, and Moist will take the round.
And that jump in from Sim to keep the spike from going down, putting so much pressure on Trent. Moist Moguls getting a very nice read because of the control they had towards A long. They were able to stack B, and they really gave Guard a run for their money as they try to scramble into that A site. And this is a Moist whose defense looks a lot more confident. Like, they're able to predict where this Guard team is going, and they adjust very quickly. Fly getting on site quickly as well, and just having players in areas where the Guard are looking to go, and they're very quick to deny any space for the Guard in these post plants.
And we've mentioned Jonah P before. He's yet to get going here in map 3.
They're going, what, 28 and like 14 or something in that first map? Something crazy.
Yeah.
Or second map, apologies.
Yeah, Jonah P, he's trying to take a rest here in this one. Say, hey guys, I did my part. I need you guys
I got
to
my
step
map.
it up for me. Yeah,
I got
yeah,
my map.
exactly.
But it'll take
always
a massive
apparent.
effort, Tanner. I think from not just Jonah P and setting Tex up, because this was the map that Tex in particular did struggle on when he did come back off of like his off of that very like 1 week break that he had.
Placing sentry.
You got Tex online in the last couple maps. Him against Sim, that duel still continuing. And he's picked up the op in this round. Despite having knives, he's gonna go for it. An op-be-op duel between him and Sim. And you don't see an op typically in the attacking side ever.
And we'll see if Moist are expecting that. First off shot rings out towards mid. Thief tries to do it again through that Viper util. Punished as the poison orb goes down. Sim gonna take the high ground, forced back to dash away. A Proto buys some time and some space. Will grab himself a couple of kills.
Aftershock forcing Tex into the open.
Blocking sight.
Lovely idea with that Viper Storm to counter the spam that Thief had last time. And there's a lurk up from a Proto that will give them some space towards B, but now Net is trying to make noise in the garage to fake a split, but he doesn't actually approach. There's still an alarm, but they're actually pivoting to the A site. And I don't like the timing here, because already Flya's going to be inbound. He will have a stun to delay by a couple of crucial seconds, but he himself has been stunned. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to do much.
Spike planted.
Yeah, he was spotted So they know defenders close here on the site. 3-player stand. Operator in the hands of Jonah P. Lower HP means Tex will take the rifle fight. Sim down to 10 himself. Good flash. Tex on the close angle here. Are they expecting it? He'll beat the fault line. Op steps up first, and it's first to fall. A Proto somehow finds the snap. 3 kills to the killjoy means this one looking pretty good for Moist, but they're running out of time. Op shot lands for Jonah P as he backs away. Net will also play off the back end of his utility, but a spike still to worry about. The defenders cut down once more. The attackers turn defenders, I should say. As the defuse comes through, they've done just enough to hang on to the round. The retake is good, and that's the Moist we know.
And very patient and cautious as well. An instant trade back as well as Sim gets caught off guard, and it's such a quick response from Moist Moguls. And I like it because they're gathering up players for those retakes, and I thought Fly was going to send the early fall in, but he instead used it for the retake when his entire team was there to back him up. So they lead 5-1. Start that we wanted again for Moist Moguls, continuing to go their way. They now have 4 ultimates to work with. And they're going to set Sim up with the off. The way that this wall works is that he doesn't get the control that he wants. You can see it here as well. He'll have to swing through this wall, and even then it's not the best of angles.
Ooh, it still works out though. Sim had to put himself in a tough spot. Fortunately for him, there was only one player up. That was Tex. Nobody there for the trade, and Tex and the knives have been erased.
Ricky Larbot, Proto by himself. That fault line just a second late, but at least Fly gets here at the very end, and he finds the quick 3K. They haven't used a single ult, so if you're Moist Moguls, you feel pretty happy about this one. It's been clean. They lose 1 player, or Proto's going to get an ult point as well towards that lockdown. So going into round 8, major ultimates around here for Moist Moguls. But unlike Fracture, they're not playing retake in every single round. They're actually fighting a lot of the times to keep players off of it. And on a map that is low-key attacking side, they've done a pretty good job of dealing with the guard and their defaults.
Wait a second. Jonah P putting the pressure on. I love what he did there with the flash. He tried to send it into the spawn and then bring it back on the angle. And yeah, pressure on now. A 1v2. The spike just out of reach, so not a whole lot of time. Moist, we'll see how they choose to play this one. A smoke down should stall. And we talked about the quiet start, but Jonah P making waves here in round 7.
One enemy remaining.
No.
Imagine. He's got time for a
He's got time to plant.
Yeah, he does. Oh,
the
thank
rolling
God,
thunder.
The rolling thunder. And a 1v1 to win it. But jeez, I forgot about that one. There's just Jonah P being alive made me think he was going to win the round.
Oh my, I mean, that was, okay, not possible, but too close to being possible.
Yeah, exactly. Because imagine the rolling thunder. Fly doesn't have a rolling thunder. Time for him to set up as well for a coastland. But that got, yeah, like you said, I think a little uncomfortable and just way too close.
Oh, man. I mean, Valen in that situation, I guess you still don't have time. I'd say Shrouded Step, the Rolling Thunder, maybe you could look to play. Very scary, but that kind of sums up what our maps have looked like. Although the score stretched a bit here in this one in favor of Moist Moguls, the rounds have been very close both ways. And what pushed Moist over the edge were the amount of clutches that they had the last time they played the guard. And there isn't any lack of them here. Beautiful setup. Oh my goodness, but I mean, Net just doesn't care. Here on this angle, just continues to push on through. Not even next. Meanwhile, Valen makes mid his own. As 3 players tried their hand, he cuts them all down. He'll reign supreme, and Tex will close it out. Brock will fall, and the second round is picked up from the guard.
Bobs and weaves at Hunter's Fury. He swings out late as soon as Net gets any semblance of contact out towards mid. There's Valen with 3. There was a 3-man push from Moist Moguls, dismantled by this Valen play. He comes out late after Net takes the early contact towards Garage, and Valen is there to sweep up anyone that's trying to take out his men. A big second round for the guard and a much needed one in this half to keep it alive. They've got a lockdown here to work with as well for Net. Moist Moguls looking to set Sim up on a very early aggressive play towards C. But it fruitless effort. But I don't think anyone on Moist Moguls was there actually to hear that play. I wonder if they're just going to spur an action now.
I mean, look at Tex. This guy just does not care. He is on his front foot, tip of the spear with an operator, no less. Meanwhile, the rest of the team, I mean, this is all an elaborate ruse. Valen opens things up with the kill onto Brock. We'll see how quickly Thief wants to go on this one. Smoke doesn't necessarily keep him at bay. He plays inside.
Great pressure there from Tex to draw attention, allow a lurk up. And a lockdown as well, almost to seal this round away. A spot just in heaven. No one watching. So Ned's not in a bad area here. They can't break this lockdown. They have to back away. Players will get detained here in a second. Thief going by himself. And they do. That's going to slow down even further. I think if you're Moist Moguls, you low-key just save here. Just let Sim go in alone.
Enemy remaining.
3 killed.
Well, not the case. They feed a few kills more over to Valen, who opened up the round looking to close it out. And what does Sim have to lose, right? Blades in hand. Decay is there. Can hopefully take a couple of heads with them, but nothing to grab. As Net will silence him in the guard, put 2 in a row.
Tex again, just drawing attention towards B. And forcing the solo swing from heaven. And the guard who had just quietly lurked up. I think they did hear the pressure over towards C. And that's what gave Tex confidence that he could make noise and instantly draw attention from Moist Moguls. So, I don't know which player heard it, but that aggression over towards C long definitely cued and spurred the guard into an exec on B, or at least a fake on B, which allowed them to walk up on A thereafter. So a timeout for Moist Moguls as these last 3 rounds, or apologies, these last 2 rounds in a row are going to dampen the mood a little bit. And I think Moist will try and switch things up again, kind of play the base of get Sim on that operator, have him anchor his sight, set him up over whether it be towards A off of the util from Brock or out towards C where he can maintain control.
Yeah, we'll say at the very least, if you're looking at the previous 2 maps coming into this one for Moist, they're already 3 rounds or 4 rounds better than they have in the previous maps been here in this first half. And so you've got that, right? They didn't have this slow start. There's always going to be that thought of, what if they didn't have a slow start in map 1? What if they didn't have a slow start in map 2? But they can't change that. And there was going to be 2 looks at it, right? There was either going to be, I'm so defeated because we lost those maps and we shouldn't have, or, hey guys, now it's time to buckle in, and now it's time to get it done. And fortunately, they seem to have chose the latter here, as 6 rounds early their way. We come out of this timeout, 3 rounds the lead for Moist Moguls. We'll see if they can make a 4th.
4 players stack up on C. Just Fly on B. If he gets a kill, I can see this lockdown getting popped in garage. But all of the guard are going to push their way forward. Fly, get 1. Maybe you pop this ultimate. It looks like that's what a Proto wants.
Tex the high ground taking shots. They don't land. Meanwhile, the Sheriff's shots start to follow suit. Moist Moguls, 3 kills in response to 1 as Sim falls. Oh, but look at this from Trent. This right here is the Trent special. Shrouded Step. Split things up. This Viper tucked away for now.
Ooh, this drone's going to clear him out, though, and I don't think he can make the cross. There's 1 in towards heaven as well. And a Proto's got the lockdown. It doesn't check. Are you kidding me? And it's so late.
Last second it checked, and because of that kill, they're forced to use the lockdown. So with
they're fighting.
The guard are gonna go aggressive, try and deal with the Killjoy ultimate. First kill comes through, the second follows, and now Deep needs to try and hang on as he drops down from heaven. Both players out that way. A tap on the spike. Snakebite will buy some time. He only has 29 HP. It's not enough to win 2 duels, and he can't even win the first.
What a decision from the guard to push forward in towards defender spawn to break that lockdown, despite there being literally a snake bite just a second ago. Quick thinking, and they are able to clutch out the round. What was disastrous on the B side, mind you, that 4 players lean towards C, and 4 players quickly rotate. I have to wonder, though, if a Proto had gotten a hair bit more aggressive over in garage, he could have caught Jonah P in rotation. He could have, and that could have been a different round. Not the 4-round lead you were hoping to see, Tanner, but they will have guns back. Sim has got the op, and he's up against the dueling op of Tex.
Oh, he's gonna try again.
Please don't do it.
He's gonna try again, and Tex is ready for it.
Time to hunt.
That just felt like an unnecessary gamble there from Sim to give up the up and give up control and give the guard an opportunity now to cause another commotion on the other side of the map and see what that pulls as well. Brock making a very untimely rotation right now.
And he's starting to hear it though. We'll see if he calls the team over from the shadows used. That will confirm few players out towards A long, and I mean it might be a few more than Brock can handle here. Next one up is the fault line is just a second late, and there's no way out for the Sova except for in way of death.
Brock wanted in a second there. Oh, that's really well timed with that smoke fade. He might be able to catch. Oh, he does catch him. Jumping down is Fire. Jumping down is Fire. And Fire's got to find two more. Not meant to be. He made it possible. And the guard now within one with the closest hack we've had so far in this series.
Heartbreak again for Moist Moguls. Flya doing his darndest in that situation. Unfortunately, just numbers not favorable. And again, I mean, a couple of rounds where we can look at the hindsight, right? We can talk about a Proto pushing out mid, maybe catching Jonah P off guard and taking that round prior. Then we see it here from Sim. We're saying, obviously, he's got no idea that Tex is still going to be on that angle. He assumes. Unfortunately, you know what happens when you assume. Tex will always come up with that kill. And you mentioned it, closest half we've had so far. And the best half for Moist, sure, but you know they wanted more, and they haven't been able to get it.
A retake setup on C. Beef will contest. A Proto will tuck in the garage. The alarm bot being the competence. Paranoia to delay. A rolling thunder to follow after, it looks like.
Look at the spike.
It's all Faker right, Tanner. Other side of the map. Have they bought into this one? Tex doing everything. Getting one is huge.
Sim's still here, though. Sim hasn't given this up just yet. Val gonna teleport across the map, right into the crosshair, but the shots go wide. Trent with the Viper's Pit once more. Domain expansion here on the A site, and it's been assumed by the guard.
A little bit of shock dart damage, but Net's able to back away. And look at the control this Viper's Pit gives you. All the way into spawn, and even a nanostorm to buy more time. A second to follow. Everyone's going in towards heaven. And they have one flash to get into the site.
They have to waterfall from this position. Drop down, Trent ready for it. Expect some more, but dealt with. The pit will fall, but they need to find some more. As the last one stands, it's Jonah P. It's the person you want in this situation as the spike continues to tick. There aren't cover moments from dissipating. First one up won't go down. Flya hangs on to the round. They have enough time. The lion's share, it belongs to Moist Mogul.
What a stun from Flya to just catch Net over towards Graffiti. Stunning him up, they're able to get that kill. So there's no trade as soon as that Viper's Pit goes down. And Moist Moguls, for the first time going into a second half, do they have a lead? And they're not playing catch up this time around. It's the guard they'll have to do exactly that on their second half. But Haven was destined to be another close game. Again, encountered 2 times before, 13-10 in favor of Moist Moguls the first time, and the second time 13-11. And the way this series has gone, we couldn't expect anything less. Moist Moguls, a must-win half to keep their Ascension dreams alive. And they have to do it on the attacking side of Haven.
We talked about the last affair here between these two teams. It was Thief that held the line on the defense. This time, it's Flya to do that. They go up 2 extra rounds from what they once had previously. The last time these two teams played Ascent in a Proto took control on the attacking side. We'll see. With 2 extra rounds in the name of Moist, they can keep this one from being close as they pressure B early in the second half.
Just waiting for the nanostorm to pop off. They catch it. Net elected to hold his instead so it doesn't get broken, but it does in the end. And a 5-on-5 to kick off this pistol. Big Paranoia to clear back sight, or front side, apologies, and a flash to check back sight. But look at Sim, and look at Brock and how close they are.
Yeah, crossfire here. Brock gonna show himself. Aftershock comes through. Fly up full of util here. As the nano swarm was dealt with, Valen to hop onto the spike. Good spam through the Viper util. The sheriff shots, they don't land. They go over the shoulders in mid. The control has been taken by the guard, and so does the pistol.
What a late lurk as well from Net. Going back towards Garage when the focus of the fight was in front of B-Main. It was a brawl right then and there. And the peace of mind from the guard to have that snake fight to flush out Brock just to get it going was huge in this retake. Going up a man early in a 5-on-5, especially in a pistol round where it comes down to pins and needles with those guns. That was massive from the guard. And they pick up a very, very needed round to stunt Moist Moguls in closing out this map. But Moist have actually elected to force here off of that spike plan and getting those kills. And where do they want to approach with this?
It worked on Fracture. They were able to get it done with the force. Flip the economy on its head. And the guard, their read is that Moist will send it A, so they stack 4 strong. Leave Net on an island on the left side of the map.
Jonah P's gonna have a judge for this retake. They've heard the dart. The wall's gone up, but that's not gonna stop these boys. A swarm on the site to buy a little bit of time with this spike plant. Sim's getting aggressive, and I like his positioning here. Ready to approach anyone that comes through this smoke. I imagine guard will be ready for something like this. Yeah, Valen's already gone for a quick spam, but they didn't get any contacts. Trailblazer will flush him out now.
Yeah, Trailblazer used though. Paranoia just behind it. Blinds a few. Steve will hold the push from backside. Sim will now assume his position atop the logs. Tex can try and get in his own. Smoke should call this one out, and it's the judge in Tex's hands now as he closes the gap. And this round, the buy, it doesn't go the way that you had hoped if you're a Moist Moguls fan, as the guard will tie us up.
That was just what? Sim just completely ignoring Tex, hoping that someone on his team would take him out instead. But is that a gamble you're really willing to make after a Trailblazer just snuffed out that there could be someone in close quarters? And off of the force, Moist Moguls pay the price. Guard will now have essentially 2 bonus rounds. This one and the next.
Yeah.
And that's just, I'm scratching my head on that play for Moist Moguls. As the guard tie it up. That felt like a round that Moist Moguls had invested so much to pick up and felt like they needed to pick up, but they couldn't get it done.
Yeah, how heads up though that Jonah P trades with Tex and says, hey, I know that you're going to close the gap here. Take this judge. It comes up so huge for them.
Blocking second.
And it's quick from Moist, but with Sim gone, the following, good spray there from Jonah P. He's trying to make up for lost time. Flag can only hope to get some extra ult orbs on this one. He's eventually taken down. Brock, at the very least, can hope to make this one less than flawless. But that seems a bit out of reach. The guard, a huge pistol round. Just the situational awareness again in that second round. The force from Moist and Sim not piecing together that fight with Tex. You look back at this series for them, and you're going to be kicking yourself. Watching back in the VOD, you're going to be kicking yourself over and over. It's the smallest of margins. It's the nuance from the guard that started in map 1 on Ascent, and it's followed all the way through, and it's kept them in this one here on Haven.
And an early fight towards A. Dart, flash. It will be a dart, actually. Apologies. This is not even a dart for the guard. And trying to get up close. 4 players pressed up heavily on this A side. What a flank this would be if they can get the timing right and avoid this turret. But they won't, it looks like, unless Tex wants to smoke it. But they'll be spotted long before. Net's heard the contact. What can he do here? Just delay. Nothing else really, but here comes the flank, and they know 4 players running back towards B main. It's not really even a flank. They're just gonna rotate and fight with their team.
Beautiful shots here, pushing aggressively. allow for space to get that spike planted. That was Brock to get that one down. Rolling Thunder available for Fly. We'll see if they need it. Sim gets caught, util in hand, and punished for it. The kills are traded right back. Moist Moguls find themselves in the driver's seat as Net will try his hand, picks up 2 kills, but with 5 HP, how much more can he get? Almost gets it done. Close, but so far as Steve closes out with 3 kills of his own. We're tied up again.
A punishing play from Netna regardless, though. Hurts them financially, and that loss bonus just lost with that round 1. And now Moist Moguls, you have to keep things clean from here on out. They have a Rolling Thunder to move forward with. The Guard, I think, doing a pretty big gamble play and just pushing A and hoping that they can make a retake happen. I think Moist Moguls doing a good job there again of getting aggressive through a smoke, trying to fight towards backside. But now Moist have got a Rolling Thunder to work with. Op Protects will be a response here. It finds Sim that's a huge opening, and that's a duel that's gone multiple times the way of Tex now throughout this series.
Yeah, and highlighting the duelist at the start of the day, it's not a Tex that the Guard don't need him to drop 30. They just need him to do that. And he's done that consistently throughout the day, finding those early picks, making sure that if he misses,
wow,
he writes
hold on, Tanner. What a well-timed lockdown. I thought it was going to force him over towards the A side, and it looks like it is in a second. Flya's going to get ready with a Rolling Thunder.
Snakebite keeps him at bay for a moment. Stun Dub are the Guard. Another Snakebite, though. This Viper utility so pesky, and with that, the B space taken. Net will find one for his troubles. A Proto on the trade. And Moist, they don't want to stop here. One player down here as they storm this C site, and Valen gets out of dodge.
And they didn't even get the plant down. They didn't even go for the stick. They just wanted to fight for A, and they lose control of it. Jonah P up against Flya, who's peeking out from garage door now. There's got to be something, because Valen's here as well. Backstab from towards C-Long, and there's nothing here that Moist Moguls can do. Run over in this round by a lockdown. That's the lead for the Guard. And Moist Moguls are kind of sitting in a sticky situation.
The economy in the last one was rough. It gets a whole lot rougher going into the next. I mean, as we revisit some of these kills, yeah, you said it perfectly. And Moist had the right read. They're like, hey, we have to fight into A main, sure. But the Viper util, keeping them at bay, making sure there was no way in. Those snake bites were huge. And yeah, of course, Tex doing Tex things, now sitting atop the leaderboard for his team. If there was ever time to do it, it was right here in map 3. As the job's not done. 4 rounds to go for the Guard. They lead by 1 with a chance to grow it to 2.
Get out of my way!
They're actually trying to punish Sim on this one. He's going to be free to get the knives and even punish one in the backside. He needed a second there for sure to make this round doable. But he's kept his team at least in a contestable position where they can maybe do a little bit of damage here, Tanner, but it doesn't look like there's much.
Like you mentioned, good damage. The economy's still sitting pretty, though, for the Guard. Thief and Brock need to come together, and they are separated across this map. But they have free reign, obviously unbeknownst to them. Thief might be able to get something in the back lines, use that from the shadows to link up with his teammate. Oh, but he's been revealed.
Yeah, and Brock is going to have a hard time getting across here. I think it's smart that he plants on this C side. Yeah, it's a gamble because he doesn't really know what's over towards C.
Area.
But he gets the spike down. There's a Hunter's Fury for him to play with moving forward. We go into this next round with a lockdown for a Proto. More than likely a Viper's Pit for Trent, unless he elects to use it here. And this Hunter's Fury from Brock. And Moist Moguls will need to use these 2 key ultimates to close this gap. Push up on over. Tex, yeah, there's that right click. And there's that 10th round for the Guard. This round was Moist Moguls trying to just burst onto the site, getting Sim onto the knives to see if they can set him up for a huge, huge play. But I just feel Sim has been a little bit cold this series, where that kind of magical hero plays isn't going to come from him, especially in a series where, again, he hasn't been his best self yet.
Yeah, we're still searching for that there. A timeout taken to get their wits about them. The Guard have done a good job. I mean, you have to think, right? 2 maps down. The game gets close, 7-5. You lose the pistol. The Guard start coming back. And what do the Guard do with that, right? they start pushing down C long. They start pushing down A long and fighting inside A main. And sure, the turret is set up, and Moist Moguls have done a good job in reading these plays. And I believe it ended up that C play that eventually got weird, pushing through B. It eventually ended up going the way of Moist. But the guard continued to keep the pressure on. Even on this attacking side, they're not letting Moist play the game that they want to play. So we finally get one round of that. We get one round where they say, Sim, go kill. We're going to set you up. Let's do it with the blades. But again, the ebb and flow of the guard, the ebb and flow of Net is just too good on A.
And look at the difference on these player cams. It's nothing but stress for Moist Moguls. And the guard looking calm, looking loose.
Turn out.
And that stress, again, continuing to mount on Moist Moguls. They didn't chase in the first half, but they are certainly chasing here in the second. As this next round is everything. 3 ults. But 11 for the guard before you even have hit 10 is a death sentence. A reset financially. And you'll be struggling with the credits. What has the tac timeout brought? Is it a play with these ultimates? Has it accounted for techs on the operator in C? They're expecting some kind of aggression, but they're not getting anything of it. A fake maybe set up towards C long. The lockdown play towards A, but a disconnect, I feel, on this play. Great flash, missed shot, Tex, if he hit that one.
Yeah, that would have been something. But like you mentioned, right, trying to sell a fake out towards C, Sim takes his space. They have not moved just yet. Still 2 defenders here, they're here.
Spike down A.
The From the Shadows from VALORANT gives them the cue, and they knew it was a fake.
Yeah, a Proto gonna grab it back though. They've opened up this site here as Net will find Sim, looking to work his way back towards his team. Fly gonna try and minimize the damage dealt, and he does so successfully. But Jonah P, that P stands for playoff. The P stands for playmaker, and he's done just that. A slower start, but he looks to pick up the pace right here. Stunned to Steve as Jonah P will run him down. And the spike is planted, sure, but the retake looks good as Flya gives himself up too much. And a huge round for the guard as they scrape their way back in.
Play off Jonah P is a different beast. That's the 3rd time between Fracture and Haven, and probably more if you go back and look at Ascent, that he has just been clutch after time and time. Where does this Jonah P come from? And that round might have just dragged them to Ascension, because you'll look at the buy and you'll look at the situation that Moist Mogul are in, and it is a dire one from here on out. No mistakes can be made. And Trent, a Viper's Pit to use. Net, a single point away from a lockdown. The odds are stacked against this open qualifier. From rookies to rockstars, Tanner, one mistake sends them back to next year's challengers.
Initiated.
From rookies to rockstars, that sums up this story of Moist Moguls. They're not going to give this up. Flash out, lockdown doesn't matter. Jonah P only gets 1 as the rest of the defense are able to back away safely. This pit's not even going to fall. Good snake bite will split the team. Sim on the other side.
And they're coming up through this Viper's Pit. This was such a good pit.
1 enemy remaining.
It gives so much space, and even with the lockdown tower, they're walking into the cave no matter what.
Yeah, 1 HP shots through the box is all it took. He's been good, but he has to be perfect. He has to be godlike. The hero here in Tex. If you give him a chance, he will not miss again. The guard. Map series. Ascension point.
Pins and needles are deciding this series. Again, that Viper's Pit is massive because the way it works is it weaves its way deep in towards sewers, where even if an ult gets popped, players trying to walk through it are going to get decayed if they try to enter the site that way. And on the flip side, it allowed a play like that for Jonah P, where he can walk up and just pop a flash.
Yeah, and Jonah P stalling the push was everything because they were outside the pit.
Is forcing them in towards B Tanner.
So quick though, kills taken right back. Tex and Jonah P were looking to work hand in hand. Flya walks his way up towards B. The spike has been planted and it is chaos at the start of this round here.
No mistakes. No mistakes in this post plant. It's already been tapped once. That's a big kill. He saw the second. Sim needs something else here, and he's not going to get it.
That's it. That will do it. They all get mowed down. Net for 3. The defuse the way of VALORANT, and the guard, battered and bruised,
Defenders win.
raise their shields to fight again, and their next battlefield is in Brazil.
And this was a 3-map series, Tanner. That was truthfully all of the guard. They started strong on the first and second map. It was Moist that did catch up here in map number 3, but it wasn't enough to get them towards the end. Moist Moguls, it was a run in challengers that will unfortunately not be remembered the way they want it to.
I mean, miracle Moguls at this point. I know that we got to keep Moist in the name because it's the branding, but they did what nobody thought they could. You mentioned it, from rookies to rock stars. But at the end of the day, we had the script. At the start of it all, Sully, we had the script. M80 and the guard, those were supposed to be our 2 teams. Those were the teams that were pieced together for success, and well, they've got a date with one another, but they've also found that success. The guard qualify for the Ascension Tournament in Brazil. This was just another job for them, right? This is another day at the office. This was the guard was supposed to do. Anything less than would have been huge. It would have meant huge things for the org, but they get it done. They do so in 3-0 fashion. If you guys are just tuning in for whatever reason, please go watch that one back because it was a nail-biter at the end of the day. And Sully, although we probably have so much to say about it, that is not for us to do. We're going to send things back to our analyst desk to talk us through this series and close out the day.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I gotta say, congratulations to the guard and also M80, our 2 representatives who will be going to Ascension. We still will see them play each other in a grand final here tomorrow, but they will be the 2 teams from North America going to Ascension, fighting for the spots in VCT. And it seems like that's been the story all season long. The script was written and stapled to the wall since day one, but Moist had a different idea. They were like, you know what? We're going off script. We're going to be the team that makes it. And they almost did. They got so incredibly close. They play in an upper bracket final against M80. Very difficult opponent to face off against. Unfortunately, it is a best of 3 and they go down 2-0. They come here into the lower bracket and it was, in my mind, going to be an incredibly close series. And even though the scoreline skews, it's a 3-0 in favor of the guard, it still was a close game. Honestly, eerily reminiscent, Roy, of the semifinal game where it's a 2-0 for Moist, but the map scores definitely dictate a closer game than the series score.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when 2 teams that are, have insane strategy kind of clash, right? It comes down to these clutch moments, and in these sort of clutch moments, that's where individuals step up. And today, it was really just the guard who's really stepping up in those scenarios. They looked incredible, but I mean, I have to say, like, this is a massive shout out to the guard. They played amazing. But man, I can't feel anything but heartbreak right now for most Moguls because they put up, it was such an incredible season. The rise was just so beautiful to watch.
Equal parts joy and sadness. This is very bittersweet because we loved watching Moist Moguls, and honestly, I would love to see both of these teams go to Brazil and represent North America. I think the run that Moist had from Split 2 onward, it was incredible. This team was so talented. They've done so much. The growth since this first split, when they came through as an open qualifier team under the moniker of Breakthrough, I mean, they really did break through. This was a team that came in with low expectations, potentially to many people, the audience at home, even the analysts in the early segments of the first split, watching the team play, we were like, okay, like they're all right. But then they became a different beast. Back at mid-season face-off, we saw the early showings of it. Split 2, impeccable. They looked so good during Split 2. They come into the playoffs as well. Strong run through the playoffs until they hit that so difficult hurdle. It's M80 and then the guard in back-to-back series. That's so hard for you to face off against.
Yeah, my heart really hurts for Moist Moguls. They really put up a big fight today, but the guard finally got the revenge of losing against them the last 2 times, and well-deserved to them. Like we were talking about, I would have loved to see both of these teams go through with M80 if there was ever a world for that to happen. Both teams have worked incredibly hard. They've been putting the time that's needed in the server, VOD reviews, they're doing team bonding outside. There's so much that goes into what a successful team looks like, and they should still be proud of how they played for the whole Challenger Series.
And as much as it is sad to see Moist Moguls go, and it's easy for us to sit on that point, I am so incredibly happy for the Guard and proud of the boys. They have worked very hard to get here. This has not been an easy journey. This team has gone through quite a bit, but they managed to make it here. And again, this is a team that we have praised going back to last year for the way they approach the game, the way they play, this like brotherhood atmosphere that they have that makes it so incredibly fun to watch. And we're going to have a second to talk to them as well. But first, we've got our post-match highlights, then our post-match interview before we wrap things up for the day. Stay tuned. And welcome back, as it is a good day if you're a Guard fan. We saw them punch their ticket to Brazil as they will be representing North America as the second team from the region at Ascension, as it seems like the story has been written since back in January when we first started discussing what Challengers was going to look like. And it is my pleasure to welcome back to the broadcast for the umpteenth time a member of the Guard for the interview. We're speaking specifically of Valen, who's got the squad behind him as well. You know, congratulations. This was obviously a massive win for you guys.
Thank you so much, Buck. Feels surreal. You know, we went through a lot last couple weeks, even since the beginning. And it all paid off, you know, and it's a lot of relief, a lot of happiness. And it kind of shows that, like, even on a bumpy road, as long as you believe and you keep your heads high, like, you can make anything possible. Obviously, we would have wished for a cleaner path, right? But having it this way of going through the lower bracket makes it even more special. And yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it doesn't really matter how you get there. What matters is that you get there. And you guys are going to Brazil as well to represent the Americas region for a chance at playing in VCT, which has obviously been the goal since day one, which you can tell. Like, I can just see it on your faces. There's like a little bit of emotion, but also like a little bit of like, it hasn't quite set in yet that this is what's actually happening. You guys are obviously going to Brazil for what you've been working for like 6 months now since the start of the year. But let's look specifically at this series. You know, you come into it, map 1 and 2, you guys are up with a huge margin, and then the comeback occurs. How do you keep like the emotions in check watching Moist start to claw back those leads?
Even when they were coming back, even when it hit overtime, I've never felt like this amount of focus coming from myself or from my team. I felt like I didn't even need to claw them back. We knew that we still had it in the bag and that they were just getting some, you know, good rounds, but more so misplays on our part. So I really didn't have to do much to claw my guys back. They were dialed in so hard. There's not much emotion right now because I'm telling you, like, the amount of focus we had going into this match to get the revenge, to punch our ticket to Brazil, like, it doesn't matter. We're down 12-0, we're up 12-0. Like, we're just next round, play in the moment. And I'm really glad we showed that resilience because I would say in our loss to Moist at the beginning, we had a lot of like fumbles and big errors. And I think it came down to us playing a bit timid, playing a bit nervous, kind of losing your focus a bit. And that's been our focus going into practice and leading up to this match is, guys, we're the better team. Like, I don't know why we're, you know, playing with not low confidence, but like playing a little timid, like trying to be perfect too much. Just focus in the game, play in the moment. Don't look too far ahead. Round by round was the motto every day. Just literally round by round, pistol round, anti-eco, first gun, alt round. Just focus on that, and that's how you get the things you want. Sorry if I'm rambling, but yeah, I didn't need to call my guys back. It was they were locked in from the get-go.
Yeah, this is the sort of raw emotion we like to see. Obviously, there's a lot going on in your guys' heads as you just realize what you've just accomplished. It's not the first time you've been in this situation either, although a little bit different the last time. You faced off in a lower bracket final against a blue logoed team and you won 3-0. This time going back to last year, looking at a match against Cloud9, where you won 3-0 and punched your ticket to Reykjavik, really putting your names on the maps. And you guys have done it here again in this lower bracket as you've made yourselves known to the challengers world and to the world in general that you guys are still here to play and you're fighting for your chance. As you look towards Ascension, you look towards a LAN environment. Not only A, how excited are you to play in a LAN environment, but B, what does the prep look like now that you know, okay, this is the next step. We got to put our heads down and grind.
Well, the prep, what it's going to look like is a couple days off, enjoy ourselves. We've been working really hard, a lot of stress the last couple of weeks preparing for this tournament. So a couple of days off to mentally reset and then back to the lab, right? Our season's not done. The job's not finished. Although it feels amazing for us to go to Brazil, in all reality, if we don't win it, this doesn't matter. So we're going to be grinding just as hard, if not harder, for this tournament coming up. Excitement, I mean, I can't even explain it. Playing on land, playing on stage is what all of us play for. My teammates, myself, that's what we want to. We want to be on the big stage next year. And I know it's the first time for our coach Josh and Ian Tex, so they're gonna have a blast on stage. For us, it's more like a redemption tour because last time obviously we didn't have the best result, and we're looking to turn some faces. You guys want to keep calling us onliners, whatever? We're gonna change that narrative coming up.
Well, similar into that vein as well, this is our last question. This one comes over from the fan zone. This one is from Intertwine. Asks, what are your fun plans in Brazil? And I think that's important to ask. You mentioned onliners. You guys haven't had a lot of opportunity to travel internationally for events, with the exception of Reykjavik. So what are your fun plans now that you're getting a chance to go down to South America, if you have any outside of the server?
Fun plans for Brazil. I mean, I love traveling, so probably just like trying all the food, or kind of going out, seeing like the scenery because it's pretty beautiful. But other than that, I would say we're pretty dialed in, and we just kind of want to stay inside and like just grind and work hard to get what we want. And we can enjoy like the dinners or going out and seeing some scenery like after our wins or leading up to a match.
Eyes on the prize. Got to respect the focus.
100%.
Congratulations again, man. Really well-deserved victory for you guys. You obviously earned every single win you had throughout not only the first split, mid-season face-off, the second split, and now into playoffs as well. You'll be going to Brazil to represent Americas. Go ahead and celebrate with your team. We'll let you go. I will say this. It will be kind of sad if you leave us on this broadcast. I don't know who I'm going to interview, but best of luck at Ascension.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you to all the fans. We appreciate the support, and honestly to my teammates. Like, you guys trusted in me from the beginning, and it's really surreal for you guys to believe in me from the get-go. And I just want to shout out them because without them, I'd be nothing. You know, they trusted me. Like, they do everything. I could say run up to you with my knife out, and they're doing it. So it makes my job easier. Yeah, that's it.
All right, go have a good hug with the team. You guys have earned it. Congratulations again, brother.
Thank you.
As we say goodbye to VALORANT for potentially the last time here on a Challengers broadcast, we do want to bring back our analysts to close out the show. It is kind of bittersweet because there's a world where I'm like, hey, you know, if they make Ascension, we won't see them next year. And that part makes me kind of bummed. It's been such a joy and a pleasure to watch their growth, not only as a team, but as individuals and players as well. They're just so incredibly talented. They're so fun to talk to. The vibes and the atmosphere they bring to the server is certainly something that will be missed in Challengers, but we all want to see them make it into VCT. It's something that we felt like this team has deserved for such a long time. But we got to take one more peek at the bracket because technically they've made it to Ascension, but they've still got one more game in their way. They're going to be facing off against M80 in a grand final. And honestly, based on the way that the Guard just played and the way that M80 played against Moist Roy, this should be a pretty spicy series.
Most definitely. And I think this is the sort of the match that everybody wanted to see at some point, right, throughout playoffs. So I'm really happy that we get to see it. And this is, I mean, you know, obviously there's a lot at stake here. There's a trophy, there's prize money, there's, you know, rights, possibly seeding. It's really unclear right now, but I think this is, for at least for the fans, this is something that you don't want to miss because it is absolutely going to be a beautiful match.
And we haven't really gotten to see a whole lot of these two teams, despite the fact that they are the #1 and #2 team coming into the first split, rated by many people. We've only seen them play twice. 2 best-of-3s, an upper bracket match and a week 5 group match back in split 1. So it's not like we know what to expect. We really don't have a lot to expect from this series. And I also think that both teams have drastically changed their approach and their playing style since those early stages. We've seen M80 really come alive here in the playoff bracket, and the same for the Guard.
Yeah, and just listening to VALORANT talk there, honestly, I was getting a little bit emotional just hearing how passionate he is. And I feel like when we were hearing Nismo talk of the winner interview, they both have very similar mindsets, if you know what I mean. They're both not satisfied with making it to the grand finals. They're not satisfied with just getting a free trip to Brazil. They both want to win, and that's why I think this is going to be a very interesting match tomorrow.
Yeah, and again, he kind of mentioned it, like the work's not done. Yeah, we can celebrate today. We got what we came here for. We wanted to go to Brazil. We wanted to go to Ascension. We wanted to fight for that spot in VCT. But we've still got more work ahead of us, not just tomorrow, but in the future. Like, take a couple days off and then heads back down. We've got to focus because we've got a LAN coming up. And it's an atmosphere that this team is not entirely used to. Neither team, really. Yeah, they've played on boot camps, and they may have played, like smaller LANs. I know that the old Ghost Corps did play a LAN in Philly, but it was definitely not of the scale that they're used to. So I guess in some sense, Guard has a little bit of an advantage there in that they did get to play in Iceland. But it wasn't a great run from them there, as we all know the storyline. So ultimately, this is a great experience for them, but it's a difficult one because it's not something they're accustomed to. They're going to have to adjust to that LAN environment. And I'm curious to see how they're going to match up against the other teams coming in from other regions as well. I have all the hope in the world in our North American teams that they're going to be walking away victorious, but you never know. And maybe tomorrow's finals will be the ultimate tale as we get to see how these two teams not only match up against each other, but potentially what they can show on an international stage. That does wrap things up for us today, though. As we bid you adieu, we have one more day, just one, as we kick off our grand finals for Challengers Playoffs tomorrow. It's a match between M80 and the Guard. Bragging rights for sure to say you are the number one team in North America going to Ascension, and we wish them both the best of luck. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Remaining. 30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.